Hello everybody and welcome to the Zcast, the post-quarter finals. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long way since week one. We've done one, not you Bern, you weren't here in week one. You're nothing. Anyway, quarterfinals. Quarterfinals. What are your impressions? Just in a sentence, I want a snapshot, a soundbite of the quarterfinals from you. Okay, Bern. Okay, yeah. Well, I like it. It's emotive, but also
unexpected,
compact.
I think, is probably the most appropriate.
Yeah, I probably agree with you. I don't know why, but it's just a feeling I've got. With that, I guess we shall go straight into the matches because I doubt you two have done anything interesting in your week.
I went to work.
No.
Yeah, nothing interesting. Yeah, nothing interesting.
Anyway. I only slept for 3 hours.
Yeah, again. Okay, this is starting to get more interesting.
I spent my time insulting Bern. Does that help?
See, now we're catching on.
Yeah,
now we're getting somewhere.
Perfect.
The first match was for North Kai Division. Super Saiyans versus the Gohans.
Super Saiyans won that one, right?
Yes, they did. Smashing victory.
No.
Yeah, in spirit they won that, right?
Yeah, in spirit, maybe.
Pretty much. Yes, it was the Gohans that triumphed
Gohan
over
was
the Super Saiyans.
Amazing.
There's a lot of Super Kamehamehas. It looked a little painful.
Just a tad.
It's like a truck just charging straight in the guy's face. Quite a surprise result. Probably the biggest, in fact, the only surprise, really. The only underdog win of the quarterfinals. Every other team that won was the bye-week team, if I'm correct in saying.
Yeah.
So they are the only underdogs left in the bowl.
I don't know if I'd say it was the only underdog in terms of the team's performances, but yeah.
No, yeah, I'm talking about, like, what's Majiggy? In terms of rankings.
Whatchamajiggy.
That's it.
I see. Let me write this down. Whatchamajiggy.
Translation
right.
script is what
That's
we've
right.
got.
You heard me. But yeah, not a very strong performance from the Super Saiyans. But a very good performance from the Gohans, especially Teen Gohan, ironically.
Yeah, Teen Gohan was pretty good. Saiyaman did quite well in the first game.
Yeah, he really showed Super Vegeta how to start a match.
Yeah.
Well, how to clash, actually.
Yeah, pretty much. That was exclusively it, really. Clash, follow it up with a fucking move afterwards. It was a good combo.
N Vegeta failed spectacularly when needed to perform, which was amazing. And Goku did well. So pretty much was the weirdest performance the Super Saiyans have ever put out.
It didn't really do what you expected it to do, did it?
No, not in no way, shape, or form. On the other hand, I bet the Gohans are very, very happy with that win. They will go on to fight. I think it's
Muscle.
What?
Nope. They're doing northwest, east, south.
Okay,
according to Squee.
That's fine. So yeah, they'll be fighting Muscle in the next round. Then, do you have anything to add? I do not. Do you two have any snippets of wisdom to pass on?
I'm just looking over the builds at the minute. Yeah, it was weird. It's like I was really not expecting the Gohan's performance from last week to carry over, and I certainly wasn't expecting it to improve. But no, that was really impressive, and it wasn't the Super Saiyans that we've seen for the past season either. So yeah, it was an interesting match. I think it was, despite the fact that it went to 3 rounds, I was kind of disappointed, to be honest with you. They didn't.
What with how good the matches were?
Yeah,
in
it just
general,
didn't. It didn't seem like after that first match was pretty good. You know, it was for the most part quite interesting, but the rest of the matches were kind of. I don't know. It just never felt like the Super Saiyans ever really got going after that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, Bern, any wisdom snippets?
Skip over him. He's gone from distance.
Oh, we should probably mention that Squee's not actually. Squee's not here.
No, he is here. He's
had
being
to.
really quiet.
I've muted him. He's got stuff to do, so he's not able to make the Z-cast. So we got Burn in to fill his shoes.
What HTK's saying is that we threw a bag over his head and shoved him in a locked cellar. Don't beat around the bush, HTK, come on.
There was no real reason why we did it either, was there?
It was just
felt
funny,
like
just the reaction. Quite entertaining.
Yeah. But yeah, so Burn, any wisdom snippets from you?
Not really. It was a very impressive win.
That just says so much, doesn't it? No wisdom from Burn.
Nope.
No wisdom at all.
Wow.
That sums up everything I thought about, to be honest. It's perfect.
Jesus.
Oh, damn. East Skies quarterfinals.
East Guy was
We had the
awesome.
androids. Androids versus Namex.
No. Let's call these games by the proper name. It was 20 against the Namex.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was fucking amazing.
Even 20 performed when needed.
Yeah, I know, right? It was just brilliant. Like, it was a brilliant performance from... Like, dynamics weren't necessarily bad. That's the problem. Like, they were doing what, against most teams, you would need to do in order to get a win. And they were playing reasonably solidly. It was just fucking 20 was so on point. It was amazing.
I mean, you kind of expect the stand-up performances from Cell, 17. 20's more of an average character. I never really expect much from him.
Yeah, well, it's
that may just
because
be me.
he's got one decent B2 in the full power energy wave thing. His second B2 isn't very good. And yeah, he's a bit of an iffy character to try and work with, but as we saw in the thing, his staying power is absolutely insane. It's really, really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And the Namex just didn't have enough damage output quickly enough to really take him down. Didn't have enough ability to, get him to flinch and to stop grabbing them in the face and sucking their energy out. It was awesome.
Let's have a look here. Namex builds.
And they led out with their most aggressive character. It was perfectly reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Was there any new builds being tried out on either side here?
Not sure. I don't know. I don't think so. These are all, as far as I can tell, I think these are still the same builds. Tambourine's build was back to the defensive one for the Namex. Pretty sure the androids builds... Yeah, the androids builds were the same... Well, yeah, the androids builds were there only one, because they've only had the one playoff match, because they had the bye week. So Tambourine was different. Nail was slightly different in that he was going for more damage instead of charge rate. But instead of apart from that, it was all the same. Early Piccolo was changed from being hyper-aggressive to just a bit aggressive.
Right, okay.
No, wait. No, Early Piccolo's build was the same. Sorry, I'm scrolling up too far. And King Piccolo was pretty much the same, except he had more of a charge bonus this time instead of last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was the odd little change from the Namex. Nothing especially major. I don't think there were any particular AI changes or anything like that. Yeah, the AIs were all the same. So yeah, it was just that the androids were better.
Poor Namex.
I don't
Poor
think
Namex.
the androids tried anything especially new from what they've been doing before.
I'm glancing over them. I can't see.
No, I mean, there's no
any
real. To be honest with you,
blazing
for the
stuff.
androids, there's no real reason to. Really, like the characters are already really, really strong. Like 8's build is less super orientated and more melee orientated. 20's build still exactly the same. 17's build is still mostly the same, I think. Yeah, 16. The AI's changed from the final week, but I'm pretty sure it's the same as it's been for the most part recently. Same build's a bit more defensive than he would otherwise be. But a lot of these changes you can sort of attribute for the androids as to being down to just having more characters to build and different roles to fulfill in the team.
Just trying to counter what they think Namek will do, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go up against the Gohans in the semi-finals, which should be an interesting match.
Wait, I thought you said it was North versus West and East versus South.
It's North versus West, East versus South. Androids is going against the Margins.
They're going against the Margins, which should be an interesting match. Weskai was Muscle versus the Valkyries, which Muscle won.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very solid win. Match 3. Match 2, they clinched it. It was very close. Very close all around, in my opinion.
It's pretty much Muscle as of this half of Season 5, isn't it? Just able to get that win whenever it's needed. No matter how little it's by, they'll always get it if they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't... It was a really weird... It was probably the weirdest series of matches, to be honest with you. Because both teams had their, real highs. And then both teams had just these really strange lows. And they came from weird players, like players you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like, 13 for Muscle was fantastic. Like, his build just hasn't changed. But his build hasn't changed much, shall we say. He's still in the same AI, and it's just, what he's been tailored to do that's different. And it was just a weird match or a weird series of games of... It just felt wrong. Like, that's really the only way I can describe it. Like, the entire set of matches felt like almost a complete reversal of what we've seen from the past season.
I think this whole postseason has been that, to be fair.
Chunks of it, I suppose.
It's very weird.
I think that's
weird.
probably a large part of that comes from having the 5-man teams.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, yeah. So, from what I gathered from the Valkyries subforum, they did seem to be fighting, they seem to have fought competently. But again, yeah, Muscle just was able to snatch that win where it was needed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show you shouldn't underestimate Muscle anymore, but at the same time, don't get complacent, Muscle.
Yeah, I don't think Muscle's...
I'm sure you're not complacent.
Muscle's not been a team... Muscle's never been a team to underestimate because their base players are very good. It's just that right now I don't think they're on the same level of builds and preparation for other teams. The other teams are. That was a really weird sentence. Yeah. It made sense. Shut up. It worked.
Made sense to you.
Fuck off. But yeah, they're getting to the point where the builds are just enough, as you said earlier, to push them over the edge to get that win when it's absolutely necessary. But the Valkyries... I don't know, I was really surprised when the Valkyries beat Dragonball Warriors. They've been certainly slipping. Their win against Dragonball Warriors was not convincing. And they've been slipping for this half of the season. They've pretty much done the opposite of what Muscle's done this season. They started out really, really strong, and they've sort of petered off towards the end of the season. So, I don't know. I'm going to be really interested, actually, to see the Muscle versus Gohan match. It's going to be really, really interesting to see.
Do you mean Muscle versus Androids? Ha 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 ha. I'm so funny.
No.
See, Burn thinks I'm funny too.
No.
Sorry, can you hear something? Because I swear I can hear Burn being cut from the audio. Burn, have you got anything to add?
Probably not.
About the performances of both teams?
Oh!
No, everything seems to have been addressed and everything. I agree.
I agree as well. I agree that you agree that I agree that...
HK, why do we have this guy?
Hey, like I said earlier, I'm only on 3 hours of sleep.
When?
Fuck off.
Really, he's just here for the stats, and we don't use them.
Yeah, no, he's not being all that useful. Get rid of him.
Why was a bag put over my head and I was kidnapped? Why?
I needed someone other than HK now that HK is an admin to insult. seemed a bit risky.
Well, flexes muscles, cracks knuckles. I know what you mean.
Yeah, they're still not
anyway.
very well developed. You've got a long way to go.
My finger. The final match was Margins versus Earth Defenders, which Margins won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Margins awesome.
Now,
I can
didn't
tell you
actually-
exactly.
I love the board.
Yeah. I can tell you exactly what ED did, if you want.
Sure.
Really? Wow, how did you know that?
I'd be amazed to know how you know.
I wonder.
Not a very active member, really, are you?
So it was kind of it was a calculated risk. What we did did 3 specific things. One of which was to put Key +2 on Goku instead of Super +2, because we figured, hey, if he can throw out more B2s, then it should even itself out. Plus, we want to be able to throw out more B2s than Majin Vegeta, because that's where we were calling where he was going to be in the later part of the lineup, which we sort of called. Then the other sort of wonky thing we did was put Super +2 on Chaozu, because, well, we were using it, and Chaozu's rocks were going to deal about 10,000 damage, which is pretty good. Pretty good for a rock. And the biggest thing was putting Krillin on a new AI. And it was a gamble that didn't work out in the slightest.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah. It was a gamble that I felt we could have done. We didn't necessarily need to, but I didn't think that I was pretty sure that Super Saiyans were going to go on to the next round. I was 90% sure, which they didn't, but I didn't think that ED was prepared for them. And from all the testing that I did with Goku AI on Krillin, it seemed like that was the AI to do. Every match that I did was amazing with him, but in the actual match where it counted, it just shit the bed. So that was basically the reason why we lost. Majins came to play, and Deborah, for the first time in a very long time, actually showed up and did what he needed to do, which I didn't expect in the slightest. Neither did Squee.
Yeah, I think the choice of Patara's on is interesting. Why did you go for Key +2 instead of just like Super +1 or Key +1?
Because we wanted him to charge really fast.
It's a really big cost of a lot of super damage. You're basically sacrificing 3 +3 bonus to supers.
We were getting rid of his entire downside with that entire build. Because potentially he would just keep going, now I'm mad, and charging through the charge penalties.
The whole point of the now I'm mad was to take him to a position where he could do his moves and take people out. And the damage was
but now I'm mad. Now I'm mad also increases all of your super, defense, attack, everything, +1.
Which helps.
So he would still be getting... Yeah?
You know, he'd be doing his... If it's increasing everything by +1, you've got Key +2. While you're in max power, you have Key +2, which is completely useless when you're in max power. And you have no benefit to supers.
That's fine.
But you're still sacrificing +3 to supers. And the amount of damage that brings, what's that, 40%?
That's 36%, basically 40%, yeah.
So, a lot of damage.
Yes, I understand, and I felt that it was fine. Because that AI has been known to throw out B2s. and getting rid of the only actual weakness that that character had, especially not in water, while not charging in water, could have been fantastic. But it didn't work out. The Goku was never really given an opportunity to really perform. The only time he did really well against Majin Vegeta and then got stomped by, if I remember correctly, it was Spopovich. Or something like that.
I have no way of verifying that. I'm going back and watching it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't...
Sorry,
The
I
team-
was just looking through the margins builds.
Yeah, the team felt that it was a good risk to take in order to get rid of all of his downsides. Even with the charge penalty and everything, he would have been able to charge faster than he normally would.
And you started with Yamcha, I assume. I haven't actually I didn't watch the last matches.
Chaozu.
Chaozu started. Alright, okay.
Yeah, I'm too finished.
And did you think they would start with Dabura?
No. I knew that they would start with either Spopovich or Dabura. More likely Spopovich, but...
Why not Marjube?
Because because of what happened during the actual season. I'm pretty sure that Kaya would have thought, hey, he's probably going to start with Yamcha again because Yamcha did so well against Majube. Alright, so I'm not going to start Majube, number one. And in fact, since I noticed this during week 15 against the Blades, he closed with Majube. So I kind of lobbied to try and get Yamcha last. Which eventually succeeded.
So hang on, so was that the reason you won did you win the first match or second?
I do believe it was the first.
Everyone who lost won. Everybody who won lost the first match.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So really it was the emulator's fault?
Yeah.
So we should just do the whole matches again, in my opinion. Until the result changes, really. But yeah, I'm looking at the margins builds. It does seem fairly standard. I was just interested in the rotation of their characters more than anything else.
I figured that Bobbity would be third and not second, but it's the only thing that I didn't really call.
I'm curious as to the decision to still not start with Yamcha. Like, I understand the reason.
Because...
I don't know. I understand that you wanted him up against Marju, who you thought was going to be at the end, but why not start with possibly your strongest starting character, or your supposedly most consistent starting character?
Because it was still good to have him as a closer. Because let's see,
what made you think?
My only other
that Chaozu was going to do better against Spopovich than anyone else on your team was going to do, because that's who you thought was going to start.
I thought he was going to do okay, and then Tien would at least be able to come in and finish them off with his uber tanky build, which happened the first match, but the second and third match my entire rotation was borked, and Krillin came out second both times.
That's the problem without trying to strategize with rotations, isn't it? I never really like doing it. But, yeah, sometimes you've got to. Just at least try. So margins have been quite... they're definitely the second favourite. No, now they're the favourite, I would say, to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. And that is all the matches. All matches completed by your favourite Zcasters right here in the studio. Very, very big studio. Very big studio. We'll go over the matches again just in case you didn't quite catch them somehow. In North Kai's quarterfinals, Super Saiyans fought the Gohans, which the Gohans won. And then they will fight in the semi-finals Muscle, who won West Sky's quarterfinals between them and Valkyries. On the other side of the league, got East Sky. Their quarterfinals consisted of Androids and Namek. Androids won, and they will go and face the Margins in the semi-finals, as the Margins beat Earth Defenders in their quarterfinals. And with that, we should probably go to the questions from the Zcast viewers. Do you see any objection to this? Is there any pressing issue you want to...
Yeah.
Do you want to question my decisions more, Rebel?
No, I just want to call you an idiot and for no good reason.
Yeah.
To be fair, you could do that during the questions.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I asked you several times last week what you thought I should do, and you said no.
Rebel was secretly in cahoots
fuck off.
with Karen.
No. Here's the thing. What you have to understand about that, and I told you what that reason was. That makes me sound completely unreasonable. No. I had already been looking over the subforums to see what was occurring. So I knew what the Margins were going to be doing and what was going to be happening. I knew all of that. So me giving help to your team, no matter how well I'm able to mask it one way or another, is completely unreasonable.
I understand that. You didn't actually explain that until the matches started.
No, I explained that to you. I vividly remember telling you that if I can figure out a way of giving you some information or steering you towards something that would be useful and actually find a reason in my head that it would make sense given what you know, I would help you. But I didn't, and I couldn't.
Well, fine then.
Don't worry, Bern. I'll email you all over their private forums for Season 6. It's no problem.
Okay.
Anyway, the first question is by Vindicated57, asked today at 11:21 a.m. The first question is, Season 5 is nearly over, which means we are headed into the off-season. Has the official start date been selected for Season 6? No.
The start date for Season 6 will be, or the pre-season will be done right after Naruto League ends. So about 3 months from the bowl.
That's not a start date, though, is it? It's a bit too vague.
No, but it's about 3 months after the bowl. It's not a date.
I kind of want a time. I want a time.
That is a time.
No, as in, like, what minutes, hours, and seconds will we
I don't give a shit. I won't be at the stream.
Wow. See, this is
Not my
what
problem.
happens.
Actually, no. Wait, I might be. Probably not. Fuck you.
Brilliant. Yeah, I don't think there's a very set date yet, but there is a vague idea.
If Naruto League ends up getting delayed a week, if there are delays, if there are problems, then it'll be delayed and there will be problems. It'll start when it starts. God.
It's the same reason.
You have at least 3 months to do shit and to do testing until the preseason starts. I think Squee was saying to me that the preseason's going to be 4-man teams rather than 5.
Yeah.
But it'll be any 4 players that you want on the team, so there's no rotation stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. The next question is to me specifically, so you two can shut the fuck up. Hey, Shike, how does it feel to be an admin? Well, Vindicated 57.
Okay, moving on to the next one.
Well, Vindicated 57. It was rather a nice way of distracting me from Super Saiyans losing. That was for certain a new shiny toy to play with. It's very weird seeing the forums as an admin, because for one thing, you literally see everything. There is nothing you can hide from me. I even read your private messages all the time, really. Especially Vindicated 57.
The terrifying thing is there is an actual setting that we can change that would make that technically possible.
Yep, and
it's not on, by the way, folks. You get a notification if it is.
What? Oh, damn it! Fuck.
No, it's unfortunate, actually.
Very.
Yeah.
But it's quite nice to be an admin, I'll admit. It's not something I've, been actively campaigning for, but now I am.
I would never say that.
No, yeah. Well, yeah, whatever. Now that I am an admin, it is pretty nice to be, I'll admit. Bern, how does it? Oh wait, you're not.
Oh.
Rub it in still. Yeah.
I was joking with
awesome.
you. I'm joking. Smack.
That was brilliant.
The next question and the final one from Vindicated is: who is your favourite to win the Season 5 Tenkaichi Bowl, and why? Well, I'll start. I will probably say the Margins, but I think it's going to be close between them and the Gohans. The reason Margins are my favourite is because they've been A, more consistent in the season, and B, kept that consistency in the playoffs, which is one I can say for some teams.
Yes. Yep.
Brilliant.
Okay, let me add to that. I think it's pretty much tied for me between the Gohans and the Margins, and I think if the Gohans keep the performance that they have had in the last 2 series that they've played, then I think the Gohans will be hands down the winners. However, the Margins don't need, even then I think with the Margins, they're still, the Margins are still competitive with that, and it won't take much for it to tip one way or another, even if the Gohans do keep that form. It'll take one derp one way or another, for each team to be victorious. I don't think that, given the performances that Muscle have put out, that they'll be capable of doing that. I think the androids might be capable of beating the Margins, but I think it's going to be a close thing, and they will need the kind of performance from Giro that they just had. That being said, I also think that the Margins have more ability to deal with Giro. I think they're better placed to actually take him out quickly than the Namex were. So, I don't know. It all depends for me on whether or not the Gohans have the same performance this week against Muscle that they did last week against Super Saiyans. If they do, then it'll probably be a Margins Gohans final to my mind. And I think the Margins will clinch that one just about. But yeah, I think that's probably the best. I think that's probably the biggest opportunity we have for a non-Margins winner is the Gohans going to the final.
Burn.
I think that Muscle and Margins are going to be in the finals, but Margins will beat Muscle.
See, now, I wouldn't count Muscle out. God,
yeah, because they can just steal wins. Broly is something to deal with, and to be fair, Gohans have a good chance of dealing with Broly and the rest of Muscle, but they can just steal wins.
I mean, we've seen it most of the second half of the season. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be close in no matter what, no matter who you think is going to win. There's always a chance that whoever you think is going to be in the final, neither of them will be there. But, there are still favourites. That you probably shouldn't take much, my opinion, into account much, because
no,
my favourite. No, yeah. Well, hang on a minute. Let's
no. Let's move on to the next one.
The next question is by GamerJunkie27, asked today at 3:45 p.m. Specifically for Rebel. Since you check the private forums a lot, roughly how many people actively help their teams?
It varies from team to team. I'm pretty sure the androids, which is what makes their performances so impressive, is that the androids is just great. Actively recently, has just been him. For every other team, I think has at least the coach and one supporter. Most teams have at least 2 people supporting the coach, and I think Earth Defenders, Super Saiyans, and I'm missing a team. Valkyries, that one, have a decent handful of people being reasonably active and getting on with builds. So, for the most part, I'd say the average is about the coach and 2 people.
Well, I mean,
but it varies massively.
One thing I did notice when I became an admin is there are a lot of people assigned to teams compared to how much a team has fans.
There are loads of people assigned to teams. But
so
the majority
actually,
of them don't do anything.
Yeah, quite few people actively help their team, which is quite odd. I didn't realise that. But, whatever.
Yeah, most people will declare. Most people who join the forums who declare for a team will declare for a team, and they're just not doing it. And they'll just never be seen on the forums again. Quite a lot of the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The next question by Hazafa Timelines, asked today at 5:15 p.m. First question: how much do you tend to read of our private forums? Do you usually glance over it, or do you read every single post?
Probably to me, I guess. It depends how interested I am and how much there is to read. It's difficult for me to differentiate a glance over and a read of every single post because I'm very good at skim reading. So I'll just pick various things out that I'm interested in or that, catch my attention, and I'll tend to get a very good idea of what the post is saying quite quickly without too many problems. So for me, actually sitting down and reading a post word for word isn't all that common, and only usually happens if the post is really in depth, really interesting, or I'm going to be doing something about it, and I'd quite like to know what it is I'm doing something about. So yeah, it's usually what most people would consider in depth, or at the very least a decent read of the post. But for me, it's pretty much a skim.
I'm kind of the same, though I'm more likely to read the actual individual parts of the post. I'm less likely to skim read than not. But yeah, other than that,
yeah, like I could hold. If someone asked me what was said in this post that I put up, or what do you think about this post that I put up, I'll be able to hold a conversation with them about it, probably, as long as it wasn't like several days ago. Then I'd be able to hold a conversation with them about it. But I don't usually go in word for word. I don't really see the point when I can get the idea of what's being said anyway.
That's fine. I feel like Byrne's a bit left out of these questions.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Byrne, if you were an
It's
admin,
almost like he's not very important.
if you were an admin, would you read everything in people's private forums, or would you glance over it?
Certain private forums, I would definitely read everything. Because certain coaches, their coaching style intrigues me. And I would want to learn more. Certain coaches, however, I feel that reading every single post would be... It would make my brain melt. So, sort of a mishmash between both.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
And
it depends also on the scenario as well. In certain circumstances, there's something you want to keep an eye on. In certain circumstances, you're just looking at a bunch of one-line posts that are just inane and pretty much pointless. And so you just sort of glaze over them. Things that you're looking for and things that are interesting jump out at you when you're skimming stuff. So, at least if you're skimming properly.
Yeah. I personally would read every single post that Vin and the Dragon Ball Warriors do.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. I like that subform. That subform's cool.
Yeah. I can't see them.
Yeah,
So,
people don't know this, but it's actually a different colour, which just immediately makes you think it's a much better form.
They're cool.
Yeah. The second question is for me again. God, I'm so popular. Oh, nice.
Don't worry, it won't last.
Yeah, probably won't actually. You'll get your flurry of questions too, Byrne, eventually. Are there any interesting discoveries you've made in the few days that you've been able to look into the private forums? Did you notice anything odd about the build making of some teams? No, not really anything odd. It was actually more consistent between teams in terms of how the thought process goes than I was expecting. But obviously there are teams with different styles. But it's I was kind of underwhelmed. So it's I'm disappointed in all of you.
Fuck.
Though to be fair, the Earth Defenders forum is pretty unique. I'll give them credit.
Yeah, it's really crap. I mean,
Pretty snazzy.
With so much discussion
And
and all of those posts, it's just completely useless. Honestly.
Brilliant.
You really are some sort of asshole.
You're not a human one.
The original arsehole. Fuck you.
You're not a human arsehole. You're just not even known. Type. So yeah, nothing odd has jumped out yet, but maybe you should. You know what you should do? You should post.
Wait until I show you the
odd.
Super Saiyans forum. I mean, God, that HDK bloke is a
Whoa.
twat.
Wow, what an arsehole!
Wow.
Again, Burn, did you
didn't
hear Rebel getting cut from the Zcast then? Because I swear I did.
No. Who are we talking about?
I don't know.
I don't remember anybody.
Anyway, the next question. By Havoc 313 today at 5:17 p.m. So when does season
Already
6
answered
start? We did already answer it, so we will move on to the next question. Wait for the page to load. We are so professional here, so professional. Lone Fox 7 asks, this is to all of you, Burn included. What teams do you feel will be the biggest threats or teams to look out for, that is, in Season 6? I think you're asking that quite early, to be fair. Because a lot of the teams I thought would be a threat in Season 6 have been shite in the post-season. So, I'm not entirely sure. If I had to say one, I'd probably say androids, actually. I think they've been quite a dark
I think the androids
horse.
get some actual active supporters at some point, because Gray's been doing a really good job on his own. But actually having people to discuss things with, Fame would be really, really useful.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be more interested in answering that question, say, at the start of the preseason, even. Like, before week 1 of the preseason, I'd be probably more interested in answering that question.
Yeah.
Just because then you've got an idea of what teams are going for, and, what sort of things they're talking about. But right now,
and
I
if
don't
certain,
think you can say that, because we don't know. We haven't confirmed what any rule changes are, any changes are, what new rules we might have one way or another. So yeah.
Plus, you don't know if certain teams will be dropping certain characters or recruiting new characters, and that's something that is definitely a factor in their success or failure.
Fingers crossed, failure. You're not getting any new characters, are you? Have we got an exclusive report right here on the Zcast?
I'm going to be looking at early Goku, but I can't confirm.
It's alright, Dragon Ball Warriors will snap him up before you do.
Yeah.
Hey, they already gave me first crack at him.
Wow. They say that, but real.
They snatch him up, I don't care.
It's almost impossible to bait this guy. Jesus, it's boring.
He's so normal.
Here's the thing.
This is boring me now.
Here's the thing. Vin, and to a lesser extent Sithspawn, would rather, instead of taking early Goku, would rather take whoever I would drop. If I were to take him.
Mm-hmm. And that's the real question.
I'm just putting that out there.
Who are you dropping?
Goku just to be a real arsehole.
I don't know. I don't know if I will even recruit. I don't know.
This is meant to be
testing has been
really
done.
Crap at these exclusive things, isn't he?
Yeah, this is meant to be an
He's not got the hang of this
exclusive.
at all.
You're part of this damn show. You need to help us. Please.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that it won't be Yamcha or Mid Goku.
Well, I guess that's something. Beggars can't be choosers. So yeah, I don't have anything else to add to that question. Anyone else? Anything else? No. Well then, the next question is by Zethsan. I think that's how you spell your name. Today at 5:49 p.m. Say. I said say.
You said spell.
You said
I said
spell.
say. I'm not going crazy. Shut up.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
He asks, or she, I don't know. God, I've fucked this up. I've screwed it up, guys.
He asks.
It's safer.
He asks, which teams do you think will win in the matches this Sunday? Well, we'll go over that.
Well, I think.
Shut up.
We'll go over that in a second.
Thank you.
And be nicer to my supporters, you pricks.
What?
Be nicer to my supporters.
Fuck you. He doesn't have a banner. Nobody knows who he supports.
He's anonymous. He's a
The
lone
admins
ranger.
look on the admins and, like,
Your admins,
Yeah.
you can see that he supports
Yeah, but he
me.
doesn't have like a
I don't know,
flashing
I think
light.
he supports the Earth Defenders, not you. I don't know. Like, come on now.
Anyway, with the questions finished, we shall quickly go over some updates from the Fantasy League and the betting. Byrne, do you have any news from the betting? Anything to point out? 'Cause, come on, Byrne. No pressure. You're on the spot
I'm
here.
broke. I'm broke because I bet for all my money on the Earth Defenders and Super Saiyans.
Yeah, the quarterfinals was pretty shit. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
It just wasn't good all around.
I mean, even if I had lost, I was like, okay, the Super Saiyans are going to win. I'm going to still be able to bet. No, you can't give me this one thing, HAK. You can't.
Sorry.
You.
I'm sorry. When it comes to the Fantasy League, we've seen quite a few teams shave off some players. Most of them only have one player now.
I have two.
Yeah, well, Burns got double. Someone's even got triple. But in first place are the New Knights with only Android 17. Second place, Assassin's Legion with only Great Saiyan Man. And third, Headless Heroes with only Margin Vegeta. Burns fourth, but we're not going to reach him because I'm an arsehole.
With Android 17 and Cell.
Alright, fine.
I had mid Vegeta, end Vegeta, mid Goku.
God.
And yeah, my team was awesome. My team was awesome.
Only.
Go
and
build
then...
that team. Go give that team builds and figure that one out.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Fine.
Are you giving me permission to do this?
Nope.
Like for funsies? Or...
Go crazy, Burn.
He's already crazy. Don't
Yes?
give him more encouragement.
Wow. Anyway, and with that we shall finish off the question that was asked last by predicting who will win in the semi-finals of the playoff. No, postseason. No, bowl. No, the semi-finals. In the first match, it'll be the Gohans versus Muscle. Who do you think will win?
Gohans. Okay, Gohans will win 2-3. 2-1.
2-3. That'll be that
2-3,
good.
yes. It's perfect. We do a best of fives now, Squee. Deal with it.
Even then, a 2-3. It doesn't
Yeah, they'll win 2-3.
Best of 5?
What?
Yeah, but they won't
3
win
wins.
2-3,
Yeah.
though, will they?
Well,
2
yeah.
wins versus 3 wins. The
The
Gohans
3
still lose.
No, because it depends where you put them in the rankings, doesn't it?
You said
depends whether you
Gohans
put
would win
Gohans
2-3.
Yeah, Gohans will win 2-3. So the Gohans will get the 3 wins.
But why would you say 2 first?
I've no idea why
Exactly.
you say 2 first, but it still works.
You're saying 2 first.
Yeah, it still works. I'm still right.
Back on topic.
Anyway, Burner Ranger, who do you think will be victorious?
He doesn't have a brain. He can't.
Wow, that was wholly unnecessary, Rebel. I think the Earth Defenders.
Who win both divisions? Funnily enough.
With a come from behind victory. We were knocked out. Now we're back. Muscle, I think
took
will
an
win.
Unfortunate fall.
Muscle will win 2-1.
Ooh. I am gonna have to say Gohans are gonna win 2-1. But again, Muscle, you could do it. I'm not putting it out of the realms of possibility here. I'm also, to be fair though, I would, if I was still a Super Saiyans fan, I would have no idea who to support then. Our age-old rivals or the arseholes that knocked us out of the blue in the quarterfinals. Only if I was a supporter of the Super Saiyans.
Obviously,
of course, it doesn't matter now.
So what you're trying to say is, it will end in a tie.
Yeah,
that's what
pretty
you're trying
much.
to say.
That's the first tie in the league. That's what's going to happen. That's just what happens when the Super Saiyans aren't in the quarterfinals or in the postseason at all. Everything fucks up. Anyway, the next match is the semi-finals between androids and the margins.
Margins 2-1.
It's gonna be close, but as long as Kaio and his supporters do fairly well with their lineup and their builds, Majins should have it. In my opinion.
I'm actually going to say margins 2-0. That's right.
Yeah.
Edgy.
You're only saying that to be controversial.
Oh dear, that joke will never get old, will it? Yeah, I think
What joke?
that the margins are Android. They're both very good teams, but I just think the margins are kind of the best counter to the androids. Not in terms of like mechanics; they can still be life drained and all that. Though to be fair, margins have their own life trainer. I just think they've got players that can counter whatever the androids can throw at them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And with that relatively short Zcast, unfortunately, we could continue sitting here for about 4 hours. Actually, let's not do that because I've got to edit it. Let's finish it quickly. So I got.
We also have EU4.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
No, we don't. It's alright. We can be a few hours late.
With that, we will say goodbye. Looking forward to the semi-finals, as are you, viewers. But wait, I kind of forgot. I'm out of practice. It's taking this admin thing way too seriously. We will see you.
You fucked up the intro. Not only did you fuck up the intro, now you're fucking up the outro. I mean, come
I know.
on, HJK.
I don't know what's going
what
on.
do I employ you for?
You employ me. Pretty sure you have to be paid for that to be a correct term.
You're paid in peanuts. You haven't been
What
receiving them?
do you think your promotion to admin status was? I'm fucking paying you money.
Oh.
That was
Not worth
that
it.
was
Wow,
the payment.
okay.
That was the payment.
I'm not
That's
corrupt.
it.
What do you think?
So, when am I gonna get paid?
Never. You're a slave.
Wow.
I don't-
Wow. What an asshole.
You squeeze slave. I can't do anything to you. Just sit here and bombard you with insults.
And on that note, we shall see you after the semi-finals of the post-season for Dragon Ball Z League. Say goodbye,
Yeah.
guys.
Goodbye, guys.
See you guys later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.